In the news tonight, costume bands and roadside vendors ready for the thousands of Grand Kadooment revellers tomorrow. The Pic-O-De-Crop Finals crowd, one of the biggest in the competition's history. And in sports, the Windies force a decisive Game 3 against Pakistan.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you so much for tuning in. In our top story tonight, tomorrow is Grand Kadooment, and thousands of revelers are expected to have a good time on the road in 18 bands. Today, workers at band houses were issuing last-minute costumes and putting logistics in place for the jump up. Anesta Henry has that report.
Beads being added to headpieces, wire being cut, and the final deposits being paid, as revelers rush to band houses to collect their costumes for Kadumment Day. Band leaders and workers at band houses busy ensuring all systems are in place for their members to have a comfortable, colorful, successful jump. Head of the Barbados Association of Masqueraders and band leader and director of Colors Entertainment, Brian Worrell, says over the past few days, bands have been putting final preparations in place.
But I can tell you there may be a slight decrease in the revelers on the road because, affordable income for locals is, as I said, not there. But there are other bands that are doing extremely well. A number of bands sold those as well, adding on extra sections, stuff like that. So, like I said, it's kind of some bands are doing well, other bands aren't.
And as usual, there are last-minute registrations for people who have only just made up their minds to be part of the revelry.
There was some concerns with some low numbers in terms of sign-ups, but there's been a last-minute push. I think a lot of people are now trying to get signed up. We got a lot of visitors that are in also coming through. We got some coming today for our band especially. So we should be able to get a slight increase, but some bands were concerned with numbers, others were doing pretty okay. So it's been kind of up and down across the board for everybody.
Worrell says from all accounts, bands should have all the pieces for their costumes in stock.
I haven't had any reports of anyone having issues with delays in entries. We also had more bands taking the duty-free concessions and the waivers this year in terms of the imports. That would have saved us a lot of money in terms of importing our items duty-free. And a lot more bands took it up this year than have in the past.
Thousands of patrons in bands will parade along the route, commencing at the helipad car park, proceeding along Hink Street, Princess Alice Highway, Prescott Boulevard, LZ Payne Roundabout, President Kennedy Drive, Eagle Hall, Black Rock Main Road, Frank Worrell Roundabout, and the Mighty Griner Highway in St. Michael. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
And as Mr. Worrell looks ahead to Grand Kadooment tomorrow, he's also mindful of what worked well during the 4-day morning jump yesterday. He says it was one of the smoothest in many years. In fact, Mr. Worrell says there was a major reduction in spectators entering bands. According to him, this was due to police accompanying bands along the route. He says bands are hoping for the same experience tomorrow during Grand Kadooment.
Well, if we will take the new measures with the inclusion of the Barbados Police Service working with the bands individually that we had for 4-day morning a couple of nights ago, we saw a huge reduction in terms of invasions in bands due to their presence with the bands. That's also going to happen for Grand Kadooment, and we're hoping for a similar effect based on their presence to kind of eliminate, may not fully eradicate, but to at least lessen down on that type of intrusion in bands.
Seriously, that was a major...
Definitely. It was one of the smoothest 4-day mornings we've had in years.
Meanwhile, some vendors along the Grand Kadooment route were busy doing last-minute preparations today. Those along President Kennedy Drive in St. Michael were ensuring all systems were in place for the annual event. Many of them say they're looking forward to the procession of bands along their route to generate sales. Our cameraman Christopher Wood spoke with a number of the vendors, and this is what they had to say.
Last year was great, but I know this year is going to be greater. Well, preparation is going good. So far, I finished prepping. I got all my stuff done prep, the food stuff. I just finished packing the bar with the drinks, the art stuff. Soon to go and pack on the shelf.
We just repaired the roof and thing, and we good for tomorrow. I hope a good crowd turn out and no rain. And Lily's cozy garden. And we outside. Go there.
Preparation going well for tomorrow proceedings, and I hope that everybody have a good and safe and healthy crop over. I just wish everyone well, and I'm thankful because I'm looking forward for tomorrow to be good, to be very good for me. Last year was my first time actually the band came through here, and it was good. Yes, it was good seeing it's my first, and I'm looking forward for this year.
The massive crowd that converged at the National Botanical Gardens for Friday night's courtesy garage Pic-O-De-Crop Finals is among the biggest in the competition's history. That's according to Minister in the Prime Minister's Office with Responsibility for Culture, Senator Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight. Now, while not providing actual figures, she tells CBC News the sold-out finals was evident there is still heavy interest across the island and beyond for the social commentary art form.
It is how we kind of translate that to make sure that the music gets on the airwaves and also transcends just the crop over moment and continues year round. But it is an encouraging sign for tent managers and the Calypsonians, the tremendous support that was shown by Barbadians as they came out in their numbers.
After the competition started at 8 p.m., there was a large crowd gathered outside the National Botanical Gardens waiting to get into the venue. Dr. Munro-Knight says she's joining with the National Cultural Foundation in apologizing to those who had to endure the long wait.
We actually had a situation occurring that we needed to be able to mediate. We found that some of the chairs that we had put on previously, really were not up to scratch, and we had to just very quickly deal with that particular situation. And that prevented us moving people quickly as we would have wanted to, but it is something that we have taken note of, and we sincerely apologize to the public for that long wait, for their patience as well, in terms of, working it through with us. And this is something that we are committed to making sure, certainly for Soca 25, that does not occur.
And coming up on NewsNight, a fire leaves a family homeless. A family of 4 was left homeless following a fire at 3rd Avenue, Goodland, St. Michael last evening. The blaze destroyed the rented wooden structure. Member of Parliament for St. Michael West, Chris Gibbs, says this follows 3 houses being destroyed recently in his constituency. He says he will do all he can to ensure those affected are accommodated while liaising with the Household Resilience Unit.
A lot of people donate clothes to my office, so I have a good stash there. So I'm going to take them to the office to pick out some clothes so that they will have some things tonight and for the next couple of days. They've lost everything, so we try what we can do to at least make them comfortable, So it's a work in progress, but we're very committed to helping the families at least to be comfortable for the next few days until we can get more permanent solutions.
The Barbados Fire Services Divisional Officer in charge of the Central Division, Tremel Perch, says they received a call about the house fire at approximately 6 p.m. He says 2 water tenders, one from the Bridgetown station and the other from the Port station, along with several officers, responded.
When he arrived, 1 wooden structure was on fire. The guys would have done an excellent job in containing the fire to this 1 structure. We would have arrived on the scene and got to do our bit by surrounding the fire and using the hose reels and firefighting equipment to contain the fire.
Work on the transmission line of the National Petroleum Corporation has been completed. It was reportedly damaged by a third party in the area of Newton Christchurch. Maintenance crews worked through the night to repair the issue, which left NPC customers experiencing low to no gas pressure in Christchurch, especially along the south coast. Customers have been advised that should they experience a scent of gas or any issues relighting their equipment, to contact the NPC at 430-4000. Residents of St. Philip are set to benefit from a new police station in that parish. Attorney General Dale Marshall made the disclosure as he addressed an Ideas Forum recently. He said the land has already been allocated and designs are soon to begin.
We are putting cameras in 6 roads. We're going to put a police station in 6 roads. We've just opened a substation. Indar, Kay and Sonia have been constantly, I don't want to say quarreling with me, but they have been remonstrating about what they have long recognized as an increased set of criminal activity in this area, and it has compelled us to put a substation in the 6 roads area. But you probably have recognized that we've had some success in terms of some of the serious criminal activity and arresting a few individuals.
Well, police have identified the victim in yesterday's fatal shooting. He is 26-year-old Jair Tyreek Quinton of 2nd Avenue, Allens Land, Passage Road, St. Michael. According to a statement issued by Police Communications and Public Affairs Officer Acting Inspector Ryan Brathwaite, the shooting occurred around 7:15 a.m. yesterday at a Country Park Towers, Country Road in St. Michael. Investigations revealed that 2 men were walking in the area between 2 blocks of apartments when a series of gunshots were discharged, injuring the deceased and another man. Quinton was transported to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by private car, where he succumbed to his injuries. Police are appealing to anyone who may have witnessed the incident or has any information that can assist them to contact Crime Stoppers hotline at 1-800-8477 or the Police Emergency 211. Well, St. Lucie brushed aside St. Peter by 81 runs for their 2nd straight win in the North Zone of the Block T20 League. Playing at KVM Oval, St. Lucie posted 154 for 5, led by an unbeaten 52 from Kareem Cozier that included 4 fours and 3 sixes. Damien Best has those details.
We're at the KMV Oval. St. Lucie batting first against St. Peter. Shamario De Pisa and Achilles Brown opening the batting. 14 runs between these two. That's 4 through cover. De Pisa was the first wicket to fall, driving out a half of the bat and gobbled up at cover for just 6 by Joshua Payne. Jalen Herwood with his first scout, 14 for 1. Brown on the go now, picks the gap in the offside. Javonte Payne got himself in an ugly tangle and skied one. Wicket number 2, Andrew Payne, the bowler, 36 for 2 after 5 overs. 10 runs later, R.J. Gibbons into Brown. Down on one knee, but straight into the breadbasket of Joshua Payne. His contribution 15, 46 for 3. They lost Deshaun Toppin for 10, so St. Lucie in dire need of a revival. Javado Holder gets all of that freeness from the full toss. It was really sweet and dandy time. Holder lapping it up. Couple bounces over square leg. Only 5 sixes struck on the night. Karim Cozier accounted for 3 of them. The first deposited over mid-wicket, but the cleanest was the second, which the fielder had no chance of nabbing. A suicide run saw the demise of Holder for 38 in the final over. The keeper, Jalen Yearwood, on target. Cozier, the only bright spark in the innings, with 52 not out in St. Lucie's 154 for 5.
Well, in reply, St. Peter were held to 73 for 7. Devon Clark took 3 for 7 and Javonte Payne Clark 3 for 12. Members of the Barbados Under-19 cricket team were toasted by Member of Parliament for St. Philip South, Indar Ware, after their recent successful campaign in the CWI Rising Stars competition. Barbados captured the title after defeating USA in the final last week, and the team was celebrated during a meet-and-greet reception organized by Minister Ware at the Crane Hotel.
Your success means that you can do it, and you can do it and do it again. And I'm particularly proud to note that whilst you as young people are developing your craft and doing so successfully, we're watching our senior West Indies team struggle at this point in time. So the eyes of the world are not on me, they're on you. And you have a responsibility every time you touch a bat or a ball to remember that you're holding your future in your hands. Bat in your hand, your future in your hands. Ball in your hand, your future in your hands. What you do with it is entirely up to you. But what I can tell you, that is going to take serious discipline and commitment for you to move to the next level.
Well, that's our news for tonight. On behalf of the entire team, thank you so much for tuning in. Whatever you do tomorrow, please do it safely. Good night.